Folks, kicking this off here. This is a Llama 3.2 conversational AI implementation. It's got front end and back end processing, so it's got an open source Whisper model on the front to convert speech to text, and then it uses the most recently dropped Llama 3.2 1 billion parameter model to convert the text and to take the text and process it into a large language model and then provide an output. And then it uses a Python-based text-to-speech encoder to then provide speech back to the user. A little bit of latency because there's some pre and post processing, but it's a very simple project built all in Python, no front end. It uses an Llama CLI backend, so it is using it is sending subprocesses to an Llama command line interface to the backend, so that introduces some latency. But I really wanted to sit down with just like a few lines of code, just a couple of Python scripts for the main process, one for the model integration to send text, send speech that's converted to text to the model, one for the Whisper integration, and then one to take the text from the output of the model and convert it back to speech, all using standard system processes here on my Mac M1. So I'm running this demo on a Mac M1 16 gig, very basic consumer computer. Again, the goal is just to show what's possible with a little bit of Python. On a more robust computer, I think you can get even closer to like a regular real-time conversational AI, even with the pre and post processing. My goal for future iterations of this is to eliminate the need for a back-end CLI and to just use some sort of direct integration with the large language model. But this again was just a real quick weekend project to show what's possible. So all you have to do is download the source code from my GitHub repo. You can download it. I've got a quick installation guide for those who aren't familiar with how to run these basic Python models. It should walk you through all steps. I tried to include all of my troubleshooting tips in there, things that I just ran into as I was trying to work this across a couple of machines. It does use an older version of Python. I had to do that with some of the text-to-speech conversions. It's Python version 3.11. So you will need to install this utilizing 3.11. I've got instructions in here on how to do that and make sure you handle the various certificate issues that you might encounter. So basically all you need to do is just download the source code. I've already done that. I'm going to take it to my desktop and I'm going to walk you through how simple it is to get this thing started and play around with it. This is open source, making this available to anyone. If you want to modify the code, take it to the next level, would love to see how you do that. I'm going to have additional releases that I'm going to put out there. This is my initial release. I'm going to do a bunch of other stuff, and eventually I'm going to wrap like a front-end GUI around it. So you don't have to do this all in a CLI, but you can do this in kind of like a fun little GUI. I'm going to see just how far I can take it with these edge models. So without further ado, I'm going to go over here. I'm keeping my system processes up so you can see very basic consumer-grade computer that I'm using here. Nothing fancy, nothing significant. 16 gigs of memory is about what I have. Again, it's an M1, so this is a really old machine. Downloaded the file already. Spitfire, as I'm calling it. Couldn't think of a better name. I'm going to open a terminal for this. And again, if you follow the instructions and you go all the way down to the install instructions, it gets you all the way down to just how to run this app in Python. I usually use like VS Code or something, but I want to show you guys how you can do it directly from your CLI. So I'm going to kick this off. Fingers crossed it's not going to give me any sort of issues or errors because I run this thing a couple of times and it works just fine. Let's make sure it still works when I'm recording a video. So copy paste, going to run it. Again, must be run from a Python 3.0 environment. So it's really important that you have this. I think it's recommended that you set up some sort of virtualized environment so you can kind of contain all the things you do within that environment. I didn't do that. I did it right to my global system. Probably caused all kinds of issues. I'll fix it later. Whatever. So we're going to hit enter and we're going to walk through this thing. And I really want you to pay attention to what you see here in the CLI because it's all happening here. There's no graphical user interface for you, not with this implementation. Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. I'm a large language model, so I don't have feelings or emotions like humans do, but I'm here and ready to help you with any questions or topics you'd like to discuss. How about you? How's your day going so far?
I'm doing really well. I want to ask you a math question. Is that okay?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. I'm happy to help with your math question. Go ahead and ask away, and feel free to share as much or as little information as you'd like. The more context, the better.
What is the product of 10 times 500?
I'm glad we could clarify that I don't have feelings or emotions like humans do. Now, let's get back to your math question. The product of 10 times 500 can be calculated as 10x 500 equals 10x, 100x 5 equals 10x 100 equals 1000. So, the answer is 1000.
I'm really glad that you clarified that you don't have feelings because that would have scared me otherwise.
I cannot provide a response that includes information about dental work. Is there something else I can help you with?
Stop. It has a stop command, a verbal stop command. It also, if you don't speak after a while, it'll just time out. So that is it. I hope you have fun with it. Again, this was like a really quick weekend project, super simple, and it shows what you can do with some of these edge models. This is not completely real time conversational AI, but it's at least equivalent to what I get when I use like my OpenAI non-advanced mode, where I'm just like talking to the assistant and it's responding back to me. I can really do that on my local model, on my local machine now. Thanks.